This is the Sacred Luxor 2. In my previous talk in the Sacred Luxor 1, I said the series contains the following 4 elements. Just something to remind you. 1. Who discovered the mace and the pellet and where? 2. The old interpretation and the opinions of the Egyptologists. 3. My criticism for the old interpretation. 4. My interpretation for the mace-head and the pellet. I believe now that for the first element, who discovers the mace and the pellet and where, I cover this element in Sacred Luxor 1. Now, I like to give you idea in the element, the second element, the old interpretation and the opinion of the Egyptologists. I shall try now to give you idea about the opinion of the scholar about the mace of Narmer. I collect as possible to make comparison between the old opinion, yani the old Egyptologist, and the recent one. This is the scene of the mace head, and this bin drawing being done by James Cubble, who discovered the mace. And we have here the 10 scenes we shall speak about. We talk about each scene alone and what is the scholar said about it. If we look to the first scene, it has been suggested here that there are 3 bearded persons wearing wigs. They cross their arm on their chests. They press the backs of their fists. They are performing a sacred dance, or they are running in an enclosure bordered by 3 crescents on each side, which are similar to the marks between which the kings performed their ritual run in said festival. This said festival, I shall speak about it extensively later on. All right? In this case, the general opinion for the Egyptologist, there are 3 persons performing dance, performing kind of dance, ritual of dance towards the king. Also here, I try to show you both the original scene from the mace and the bin drawing of them. If we go to the second scene, this scene is repeated in the pellet and in the mace. There is an obvious differences between the position of the 4 standards on the mace, where they are short and planted on the ground. This 4 standard from the mace, this 4 standard from the pellet. The difference between them, it's a big difference. This is short, this is long. This 4 planted in the ground, this is up of the ground. Other thing also, this 4 in the mace, if you look to them as onlooker, they are moving from your right hand side to your left. And this one on the pellet, they are moving from your left hand side to your right. Other also difference between them, if you look here for the first standard, topping with jackal, although the first here, topping with falcon. The second here, topping with what they call globular item. The second here, topping with falcon. The third here in the mace head, topping by falcon. The third here, topping by jackal. The 4th here, topping by falcon. The fourth here topping by globular. Because there is big difference between them. Looks like they like to tell us something of kind of opposite movement between the two pieces. Yani, as example, why I say that this coming from your right hand side to your left, I mean that. Why? Because in ancient Egyptian language, the word right mean also west, and the word left meaning east. Yani east in hieroglyphic Egypt, and left also Egypt, and imant it's also right and west. يبقى in this case, because the Egyptians they put everything, all their secret in all their image, they considering their image has the leadership. يعني as example, I can't say from your right hand side to your left. When I say from your right to left, to make it easy for you to understand, but I have to follow the direction of the piece itself. يعني the right of the scene, the left of the scene. The right of the scene, for you it is the left. The left is the scene, for you it is the right. يبقى in this case, if these people walking or moving from your right to your left, meaning they are moving from east to west. Okay? If these people, this four standard here, moving from your left to your right, because they are coming back from the west to east. طبعا this direction, it's been a document in the language. For this, it will help us in my interpretation. Here, when we speak about the globular, this item, it's been a lot of opinion being said about it. Globular here, we have here also Flanders Petrie interpreted them, this four person or this four standard, as standard of army. Standard of army. And about the two falcon here, Mr. Dr. Saleh, he is the Dean of Archaeology faculty in Cairo University. He thought these two falcon, one belonged to as a Horus of Upper Egypt and Horus of South of Egypt. Why he said that? Because Horus as a god in ancient Egypt, or as I said already in my talk before, as the epithet, it been worshipped in about more or 30 places in Egypt. So he considering one belong to south of Egypt, one belong to north of Egypt. Also here we have about the globular item. It's considering by Petrie as here, Petrie he said about this piece of flesh. Piece of flesh. I said a lot of opinion being said about this because this is very important when we explain about it. Petrie he said piece of flesh, while Gardner he said also he mentioned it in hieroglyph called shed, and he said it's not meaning the entire standard. No. It's not meaning, because some of Egyptology considering it a standard. He said, no, it's not meaning the entire standard. He said, but it's a bolster, like protrude. And at late times, the word seemed to be acquired more general significance. Looks like. Here, if we look to read this, نب شدقا إرنسرو. نب شدقا إرنسرو. When he translated, he said, Lord of Standard, higher than the gods. Lord of Standard. يعني that's meaning Mr. Gardner in his article here in ZAS 47. This from the tomb of Amnimhat in the West Bank of Luxor beside the Khmeira tomb and the Sheikh Abdul Gurna, when he translated Shid here, translated as a standard. And he said, Lord, if a standard higher than the gods, higher all the gods. Here, when he, the scribe, when he collected between this word, the shid, and the higher, higher, he liked to give us the original meaning of that. There is something related to this word, high. So when I explain in my interpretation, I shall explain what he meaning by high. This is standard high of what? Also, the last one of the recent Egyptologists, Ian Shaw, in his fruitful booklet, really, Ancient Egypt, a very short introduction, he said Shid, this is Shid as royal placenta, royal placenta. Also, Elise Pomagirtel thought that the jackal was the emblem of the god Wibwawat. Here, Elise, she considering this jackal emblem of the god Wibwawat, god of Asyut. Okay. Also, he noticed here that the first and the third and the fourth bearers, the first and the third and the fourth, all this 1 and 3 and 4, all the three persons here bearded, except this one. Yeah, and that's meaning. Did they like to tell us this man, he is bearded as an old man, and this is the young in them? Yes, because there is also a relationship in the interpretation of this globular. This globular item, no old man can do it, just young. For this, he show him without beard. If we go to 2, the third scene, a cloaked and beardless figure faces Narmer from a litter or seat similar to a sedan chair. Yeah, this and person when something looks like a sedan chair. Saleh said about the legs here, the legs of this chair, he said, the legs of the sedan chair, he said, it's in the form of the legs of bull, because the Egyptian people, they show the bull as the king sometime. There has been also much discussion about the identity of this character. A lot of big debate about who is this. Some of the opinion here I can mention looks like, some he said this is princess of lower of Egypt, of north of Egypt. It will be the bride for Narmer. After Narmer he get victory, because as I told you before, that the general interpretation of the old interpretation, a battle between the south and the north of Egypt, and Narmer as the king of the south, he get victory. They said here, it may be one the princess, and it will be the bride of Narmer after his victory against the north of Egypt. This one opinion. Other opinion also said here, defeated prince. Maybe he's a man, not a lady, being defeated, and he come to sitting toward Narmer as a head of his people. Some said also of Egyptologists, it's a captive ruler brought before the king. Petrie thought this figure, it's heiress of the crown of lower of Egypt. And he said this heiress of the crown, if Narmer marry her, it give him the lawful way, the legal way to rule the north of Egypt. Elise pointed out that this figure seemed the most important after the king. Elise Baumgartel, she said, this is the important character in the whole mace after the king, and appeared to be a woman. She said, no, she's not prince. She's not defeated ruler. She is a woman because she has no beard. Okay? And also, and the three followers, when I show you the first scene, the three followers follow her. So she, considering her, she is indeed a woman. She can only the queen, maybe the queen of the north of Egypt, or wife or mother of the king. Dr. Shukri also, he noticed that. Important thing, he noticed it. Here, Dr. Shukri, because we can see it in the original picture. What he said, the artist depicted this character in profiles. Okay? This in profile. In profile. But, look here, whereas the eye at the top of the letter is shown facing viewer. If you look to the eye here, it's not profile, it's in front. يبقى the artist, he like to guide us to kind of movement. يعني when we follow the eye where it will go, we shall see why he shows the eye in front, although he show all the body in profile. If we go to the other scene, next scene, this is the fourth one, the enclosure or pin in front of the four standards contain a cow with its calf. Cow with its calf. And also here, Saleh pointed out that the shape of this pin, okay, looks like the hieroglyphic sign H. This one. And I believe he is right, because I shall prove that on my interpretation. Yani he said the shape of this pin, it looks like the shape of the hieroglyphic sign H, which represent reed shelter on a fields. Reed shelter on a fields. Also, along with the three ghazal we shall show after, he considering also that the cow and the calf with the three ghazal, which we shall show after, he said all of this may be considering as sacrifices for the temple. That's what he said. Ellis also saw that the third and the fourth scene are united to form one scene. She added that the character in the third scene, she speak about that. Yeah, the character in the third scene would be the mother of the god Horus. That's her opinion. For whom there was a cult in the temple at Heracleopolis. Why she tied between her as the mother of god Horus? Because he found James Cubel, he found all these pieces on the temple of Horus. The mother of Horus is depicted above as a cow. Why? Because we have in ancient Egypt in their theology that they resemble between the sky and the cow. They considering the goddess is Nut of the sky, she is the cow. This cow, when she gave her calf, meaning the sun, meaning the heaven, the sky, it is the mother of the sun. Here she said mother of the horse depicted above a cow, below in her human representation. Looks like this. This is good opinion also from her when she said that this character and the cow also, it's coming the top of it. It may be she is the mother of the god Horus. If we go to the other scene, next one, the fifth scene here. I have here opinion in this scene for the gazelle, for Nicholas Melt in one of his article. He considering the animals to be three antelope. But he said these three antelope disporting themselves in a desert landscape. beside a water course. A wavy line indicates a surface of the desert. This wavy line, surface of the desert. This is all right. This is good. This is good opinion, and we shall explain this. Now I like to tell something, a flavor about this. If we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 3 or 4 hills. What is this 4 hills? We shall speak after about that. Also here, after the opinion of Nicholas Melt, Ellis, she referred that the 3 gazelle in an oval enclosure, برضو she considering them as sacrifices. If we go to the 6th scene, in this scene there are 5 men. James Cubel considering that the 3 of A and B and C bodyguard. يعني James Cubel who discovered this mace, he considering this one, this one, this one, the 3 each body have long staff. They are bodyguard to protect the king. طبعا something this is being said since about 1898. I can't accept that a person or a man like that, he have a staff very long than his body. He doesn't manage him even to use it as a bodyguard, but he considering them bodyguard. To protect the king. Ellis referred to them as a soldier. Ellis Baumgartelschit knows they are a soldier for the king. Okay. يعني we shall see here all the interpretation, all the opinion doesn't go out of the war, of the battle, of the fighting, bodyguard, soldier, something like that, because all of them full inside them that this it's a battle, it's a war. So most of the opinion, soldier, bodyguard, protection, something like that. Saleh says they are the standard bearers. They are standard bearers, nothing else. But he don't mention anything about. They just this is as a standard. Looks like the people before. We show it. Person D, this one. This one, it's been appeared here in the mace. Here. With 1 letter hieroglyphing in the top of him, this letter tethering rope, which been used, I believe, to tie the legs of the animal, looks like donkeys or horses or something like that. And he said here, has 1 sign above his head, and he wears a wig and a leopard skin. This one, he has a leopard skin also. If we show, here, because he has the leopard skin, this is the special wearing for the priests. He considering him high priest from the leopard skin. This made also James Cubel considering him, he is the high priest of the king Narmer. The same person appear, I said, in the belt of Narmer, where he's wearing also the same wig. But here I have 2 in the armor belt. He have 2 hieroglyphing, not 1. Looks like before. The tethering robe, low th in English, and the T, loaf of bread. When he give me just 1 letter, 1 sign on the mace, and 2 sign on the belt, he like to tell me that the mace, it is older than the pellet. The mace, it is older than the pellet. This will explain to us what I said on the Sacred Luxor 1, that when he found what he called main deposit together in one place, and he found the pellet a little far from the collection. Why? This is, we shall explain it also. Also here, this same person appear as well in the pellet with the 2 hieroglyphing. Most of the Egyptologists, even the recent today, considering him, maybe he is a vizier, he is a minister of the king. and some translated this two letter as the minister. But they don't also look to the function of the sign. What when I spoke in the first, in the Sacred Luxor one, if you come back please, because I explained that the hieroglyphic sign has the scribe, he used its function. Sometimes he used just the function, sometimes he used the pronunciation of it, and always. Here also, this visit, the number E, this is the servant of the king. He holding in his left hand the slipper, or the slipper of the king, the sandal of the king, and the purification in his right hand. When we look to in the front of him, there is two little image, rosette and a sign. It's called, they call it him. Okay, the opinion, it's a lot about this also. Here somebody, 6 attendant the king, holding the sandal of the king in his left hand and the water jar in his right hand. There are two signs in the front of his face. One is the rosette with the 7 petals. Here a very important thing here, we like to speak about it. 7 petals. If we go to enlarged one, yeah, this is the two sign in the front of the servant. 7 petals and the circle inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and here they said this is him sign. Him sign, when they say explain this, him sign, it is the club used by the fullers in washing. Because if you remember, maybe since 100 years, still in Egypt, you remember the people when they washing, they have big club, and they use, they hit the clothes in the big pot for wood. They said club used for by the fullers in washing, which later came to have several meaning, including servant. Yani after that we found this one meaning servant. For this they said servant, although there is no relation between the name of this, even if it's meaning later on as a servant, there is no relation between this sign and the servant. The explanation of these two hieroglyphics is connected to the first and the second scene, which we shall show after. The servant also appeared twice in the ballad of Narmer. This one, this servant, he appeared 2 times, but in different shape, in the ballad of Narmer, as we shall show after. And also with 2 rosettes. Yani when he appeared in the ballad of Narmer, the ballads have 2 faces, obverse and reverse. The ballad here on the reverse, it's 6 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in the on the obverse, it's 7 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 looks like here. That's everything the Egyptian artist or the Egyptian scribe, he put it on the scene significant, and he liked to tell us a message. When we explain why this 6, why this 7, why 7 in the mace, why 6 in the reverse of the ballad, why 7, all this significant, all this have a guidance for us when we start to speak about that in our interpretation. The 7th scene, this is the king Narmer. Narmer sit under a canopy erected on an elevated dais. The dais is approached by 9 steps. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is significance. We shall speak why 9, why not 10. Yani the artist, he definitely he does 9 because he like to tell us some message. Now also 7, 9 step, and the front of the canopy is supported by 2 cylinder balls here, two cylinder balls. It's nice now to finish this Sacred Luxor 2. See you in the next time for the Sacred Luxor 3. Thank you.